It's the early 1990s on one of the world's deadliest mountains. A stunning French climber named Chantal Mauduit walks into base camp, and every guy there suddenly forgets why he came. She's smart, fearless, and knows exactly how to make men compete for her attention. Some call her a pioneer. Others whisper Black Widow behind her back, because the men who fall for her end up risking everything, and sometimes losing it all. She summit peaks no woman had touched without oxygen. She broke rules, ignored laws, and left a trail of broken hearts and bruised egos from the Alps to K2. Guys carried her gear, fixed her ropes, even pulled her out of death zones when she went blind on the summit. But when the rescues were over, she barely said thank you. She just kept climbing higher. This isn't fiction. This is the jaw-dropping true story of Chantal Mauduit, the most scandalous female mountaineer who ever lived. A woman who used charm like a climbing axe and left the entire Himalayan community divided. Hero or heartless opportunist? Stick around, because by the end of this you might not know who to root for, and that final twist on a remote peak will chill you to the bone. Chantal Mauduit grew up in the shadow of the French Alps, the kind of place where the mountains aren't just scenery. They're in your blood. Born in the 1960s, she was skiing before she could ride a bike. Winter sports came naturally, but something wilder called to her. By her early 20s, she had earned her mountain guide certification, a huge deal for any climber, let alone a woman in a very male world back then. At just 22 years old, Chantal entered one of Europe's toughest ice climbing competitions. 25 of the strongest male climbers showed up. She took third place, the only woman in the whole field. People started noticing. She wasn't just good, she was exceptional. Quick acclimatization, lightning fast on technical terrain, and that fearless smile that made sponsors and teammates pay attention. Her first big high-altitude trip took her to the Andes in South America. She knocked off 3 6,000-meter peaks in a single season, including the legendary Aconcagua. Then she did something wild. She paraglided off the summit. That's the kind of bold, larger-than-life move that defined her. Chantal wasn't there to tick boxes. She wanted to feel alive. And by the early 90s, she had set her sights on the biggest prize of all, the 8,000-meter giants of the Himalayas. She made a vow after her first Everest attempt in 1991, no more messing around with lower peaks. From then on, it was only the world's tallest mountains, climbed in pure alpine style. Light and fast, no bottled oxygen, minimal gear, just her, the rock, and the sky. It was insanely risky. Most climbers need oxygen above 26,000 feet just to think straight. Chantal bet her life that she didn't, and for a while the mountains seemed to agree. Here's where the story gets complicated, and where the nickname Black Widow was born. Chantal was beautiful, charismatic, and she knew it. In the hypermacho world of 1990s mountaineering, she learned fast that her presence could shift the whole power dynamic of an expedition. Guys fought for the chance to climb with her. They carried her extra weight, waited for her at camps, even argued over who got to belay her on the hard sections. She enjoyed the attention. Teammates described her as provocative, flirtatious, with what some called liberal sexual morals. On one Everest expedition, the tension she created between rival male climbers got so bad that actual rocks were thrown in camp. Fists flew, friendships shattered, and Chantal? She just kept climbing. The climbing community started talking. Was she a brilliant alpinist who happened to be attractive? Or was she a master manipulator who used romance the way other climbers used fixed ropes, to get higher, faster, with less effort? She never denied enjoying the game. In her own writings, she came across as confident and unapologetic. But the whispers grew louder. Men who got close to Chantal often paid a steep price. No relationship shows the dangerous mix of love and ambition better than the one with American climber Thor Kerr. They met, fell hard, and decided to tackle Patagonia's brutal Mount Fitz Roy together. Chantal was leading tourist groups to make money for the trip, but she told Thor she was broke and couldn't afford her plane ticket. He paid the difference out of his own pocket, no questions asked. On the mountain, things turned dramatic fast. They were pushing for the summit when Chantal turned to him and said something that still gives climbers chills. "If we reach the summit today, everything between us will be fine. Thor took the lead, climbing hard. Then disaster, he slipped, fell 20 meters and slammed onto a narrow ledge. Alive, but badly hurt. Torn eyelid, broken right arm. In shock. Chantal didn't panic. She made sure he was stable. Then the next morning she looked at him and said, "I no longer love you." She continued climbing without him. Thor was left injured on the wall while she chased the summit. Friends later begged him to stay away from her. A psychologist even warned him she was toxic. But Thor couldn't help it. He was hooked. That wasn't the last time their paths would cross in the death zone. 1992. K2, the Savage Mountain. Chantal was part of a Swiss team, but she broke Pakistani law and jumped to a Russian-American expedition without permission. Why? Because Thor was there, and so was his new climbing partner, Ed Veers. Chantal had already started a secret relationship with Ed. July 28th, the team launched for the summit. Chantal moved fast, acclimatized like a machine. On August 3rd, she stood on top, only the fourth woman ever to summit K2. But at 28,251 feet, disaster struck. She lost her sunglasses in the brutal UV glare. Snow blindness hit instantly. She couldn't see a thing. Chantal crawled into a snow cave, freezing and helpless. Enter Alex Nicoro. He found her, half dead. Thor, despite everything that had happened between them, rigged handrails of rope through the deadly bottleneck sections so she could descend safely. Ed Veers and Scott Fisher climbed up through an avalanche just to help carry her down. She survived because these men she had hurt, men she had used, risked their own lives to save her. Back at base camp, though, Chantal barely mentioned them in her later writings. She celebrated like a solo hero. The fine for breaking climbing rules? She tore it up and laughed. The Black Widow label stuck harder than ever. Chantal didn't slow down. In 1993, she returned to Everest with a New Zealand team, claiming she could climb faster alone. She turned back at 8,400 meters but later illegally summited Shishapangma and Cho Oyu, both 8,000 airs without permits. In 1995, she joined Rob Hall's legendary expedition. Yes, the same Rob Hall from Into Thin Air. She reached the south summit of Everest at 8,750 meters, collapsed from exhaustion, and had to be carried down, again by the very men whose time and safety she had jeopardized. Rob banned her from future trips. Then came 1996. Chantal claimed the first solo, oxygen-free ascent of Lhotse, the fourth highest mountain on Earth. No witnesses, no photos. Terrible weather that day killed other climbers on nearby Everest. Some veterans, including Ed Viesters, openly doubted she actually topped out. She insisted she did. The climbing world was split down the middle. She kept pushing boundaries, filming documentaries, becoming a celebrity in France. But every summit seemed to come with a new controversy. Accusations she let men do the heavy lifting while she took the glory. May 1998. Dhaulagiri in Nepal. Chantal was climbing with a new partner and a Sherpa. They were last seen alive in their tent near an Italian team's camp. The next morning, rescuers found all three dead inside their sleeping bags. Chantal had a deformed jaw and broken neck. The Sherpa had suffocated. An ice block? Avalanche? No one knows for sure. Her body was brought home to France and cremated. Her will gave no instructions for the ashes. The Black Widow legend exploded. Some saw a fearless trailblazer who smashed barriers for women in alpinism. Others saw a narcissist who left a trail of damaged lives. Thor Kerr, the man who rescued her twice and had his heart shattered, never spoke publicly against her again. The men who carried her down K2 still shake their heads when her name comes up. Chantal Mauduit died at the top of her game, chasing the happiness she could only find on the edge of the world. She conquered 7 8,000-meter peaks. She inspired and infuriated thousands. And in the end, the mountain she loved took her. Quietly, mysteriously, without fanfare. So was she a villain or a visionary? A user of men or a woman who simply refused to play by their rules? The truth, like the view from 28,000 feet, is probably somewhere in the thin, freezing air between the two. Chantal Mauduit lived harder and climbed higher than most of us ever will. She showed the world that women could dominate the death zone, and she paid every price along the way. If you love stories of impossible ambition, real human drama, and mountains that don't forgive mistakes, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more wild true tales from the world's most dangerous places. The Himalayas still have plenty of ghosts, and this one might be the most unforgettable.